if another girl who wears a hijab, who's, you know, from an immigrant parent, sees me on TV and she's like, you know what, I've always loved comedy. Ola Labib did it. Why don't I give it a go? So it kind of like encourages and pushes more people to do it. When I was 29, I wasn't married yet. So I had a massive panic attack. I was like, shit, I'm going to be 30 and I haven't achieved anything. So I was at work and I Googled which countries in the world reverse time the most from the UK. And it turned out it was the Caribbean. So I literally took leave. I was like, I need leave starting tomorrow. It's urgent, whatever. And I booked a ticket to Barbados. And I went, and it was the day before my birthday, and I got an extra 6 hours of being 29. It was really tough, you know, and I got COVID as well in the first few months because I worked on one of the first COVID wards. But the thing that I loved about comedy, especially like when I was doing like oncology rotations and working with like, you know, especially like kids with, you know, really like upsetting conditions, I do take that home with me, but comedy was such a therapeutic way of kind of like clearing my mind.
So welcome back, Series 2, Pop Up the Bar. Chief, it's been a while, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. You? Is it still podcast? I can't wave at people now. I can't let know.
Yeah, I should have just put in put on the market, really. Yeah, no, it's audio done. Please say hello to your audience.
Hello everyone. Hello you. It's been a while. We've obviously spoken in between times, but you've changed. You've changed quite a bit. You've still got a beer, but there's a mo happening now. I've gone and got my. Weirdly, the reason we started all of this was because of lockdown 1. We did a good first series.
Yeah.
We've had a break, and now all of a sudden, kind of by coincidence, we're back filming on the day we've gone into lockdown 2. And I've had my lockdown trim. My mum will be doing the rest from now on, but I've gone to the barbers and my lockdown trim. You've got a special. You've got a special bit of face. I can't describe it like that. You've got some interesting facial hair and all for a good cause.
Yeah, so I'm the handlebars. For those who can't see, there will be pictures on socials for this. But yeah, so it's obviously November, which means November time. For those who don't know, November is a campaign where people raise money to support men's health in a broad range of things, from testicular cancer up to mental health, which is the strand I'm fundraising for this year. So yeah, the Mo is strong. The more people donate, the longer the handlebars are going. So hopefully by about £250, they'll just be about in my day, connecting with my chest there. And then, I mean, if we hit £1,000, I don't mind then tickling carpet, if I'm honest. But it'd be nice to get a few £100 for that. So, I mean, I know it's tough times. We're not a podcast that normally asks for any form of cash.
We've never done that before at all.
No, I mean, if you would like to just donate to us as a pair of as £2, that would be lovely. But at the minute, we'd much prefer money to go towards mental health, because obviously it's a bit of a crap time. Then support is actually quite expensive, and charities like Movember, campaigns like Movember, put money towards resource for people to get support. So yeah, so that's why the Mo's out, and also I look pretty fit. I've had people say Charlie Bronson, Charles Bronson as one that 80s porn star as another. Not sure my nana would agree with that one. Not sure my nana would want to agree with either of them, if I'm honest. It's not like Charlie's a nice bloke, really. But I'm just some quick sunglasses away, really. But yeah, I mean, let's get away from my face.
That's why we do a podcast, mostly.
Yeah. What I realised was we still haven't traded presents from weeks ago, and now we're in lockdown. It's at least 4 weeks before we do it.
It is, yeah. Whenever we come out of lockdown, we've just got to make it happen, because mine's still in my car. I don't know. Have you still got mine in the move?
Yes. Yeah. So I had a panic. I was like, oh no, I didn't throw it out, did I? And it turns out I didn't throw it out at all. I put it in a safe box, which I managed to locate in a bit of a rush this morning. I was like, oh my gosh, where is it? So obviously I'm still working from home, so I had some time this morning to just make sure it was still there because it came to mind. We should really wrap this intro up. We are going to do an outro, but we have got an extremely special guest today. Someone that I will be calling a friend by the end of the recording, but currently, because I call everyone my friend, but currently there is no prior, which means we are now official, proper podcast hosts. Well, you're still a kind of just an editor, but how does that make you feel?
Scary times, isn't it? Scary times, you being let loose as an actual podcast official host. That's very scary. But interesting times as well. You've been beavering away while we've been in our hiatus to get some good guests, and I'm excited for who we've got tonight.
We have got some good guests lined up tonight. We've actually got someone who's funnier than me, which isn't something we kind of naturally find. It's quite hard to find someone as funny as me, let alone funnier. But we've got the amazing Ola Labib, who is a comedian. She is the only Sudanese female comic on the UK strip at the minute. I've watched a lot of kind of her little snippets online. She is extremely funny and she likes a bit of a rant. And we all know who also likes a bit of a rant. So I'm hoping we'll get some decent grinds, goats, gears, and also what grinds Ola's as well. So it should be quite a tasty podcast. I mean, this is genuine. We haven't spoken to her yet. Normally podcasts will intro and outro after I do my other podcast. We're genuinely introing before she's even turned up on Zoom. So what we'll do is we'll take our break, and when Ola comes back and she turns up, she'll be here. Exciting times. We'll speak at the end then.
Speak at the end.
So as promised, she's gone. There she is again. Labib, how are you doing? Welcome on to Prop Up the Bar. How are you?
I am very good, thank you. How are you?
I am exceptionally good. First guest of the new series, which is nice. You're the first guest that we've not met before as well. So
cool.
You officially make us real podcast hosts, which is lovely. Thank you. So obviously, people that don't know you, do you want to give us a little bit of a background about who you are? What do you do in the day and of night sometimes?
Yeah, so I am a comedian and I'm also a clinical pharmacist. So you can't combine the two. I think it is actually physically and psychologically impossible. So yeah, living a double life, really.
So medical hero by day, class clown by night. Is that how it is? How it goes?
Something along those lines.
So obviously there's a lot we're going to talk about today, but I've never really met a comedian who has the same reason for going into comedy as anyone else. So what was your reason for going into comedy, and how did you get into it?
So I've been wanting to do comedy for a long time. I came from quite a strict background, so it is your stereotypical, if you find someone from a similar background to me, you're either a doctor, a pharmacist, an engineer, along those lines. So we didn't stray too far from that. So my older brother's a doctor, I'm a pharmacist, and my brother that's a year younger than me is an engineer. My sister's in pharmacy school. So yeah, I know. So we kind of followed what the expectation was. But I did a bit of stand-up during university, but I knew that it would never amount. I didn't ever think it would ever amount to anything, even though when I did it, I felt like this is literally what I would love to do. So yeah, I ended up doing pharmacy, then thought, okay, when am I going to do comedy? But then it was kind of one thing after the other. So I worked, and then I specialized, and then it just started to get chaotic from there. And I remember on my 30th birthday, I was like, mate, if I don't do this now, when am I ever going to do it? So I lived in Manchester at the time, And the reason I moved to Manchester is because I heard there's a really, really good circuit. And it's true, they have a fantastic comedy circuit up there. But I was there for 3 years, but I kept putting it off. So when I hit my third life crisis, I was just like, you know what, if I don't do this now, like I'm never going to do it. So I literally went into a grubby, skanky pub in North Manchester and did an open mic. And I did well, entertaining the 3 people in the audience, 2 of which were like paralytic drunk, and the third looked like he had sniffed more than he should have. But yeah, so I did it there. There was a promoter there, put me on to a next gig, another open mic. So just through open mic, my name started flittering around, and today I'm signed to UTC and doing even bigger gigs. So yes, it's been a bit of a crazy journey, really.
It definitely sounds it. I mean, I imagine studying pharmacy is quite full on anyway.
It's proper full on, yeah.
Yeah.
Full on.
So how did you manage to juggle the two?
So during uni, it was like only a few events that we did. It wasn't like a regular thing. Probably did about, in 4 years, probably did like 3 or 4 maximum. And whilst practicing as a pharmacist, like since I started doing the open mic, it really, really, really took it out of me. It is so hard because it's not like, so working as a clinical pharmacist, you don't just do like 9 to 5, 9 to 6. Sometimes you do late nights, you do closings, you don't finish until 8 o'clock. Sometimes you're doing on calls where, like, you know, you've got the pager on you. And obviously I couldn't gig when I've got on calls and stuff like that. But there's been times where I'd work in Liverpool, finish at 5:30, 6 o'clock. I'll have a gig in Leeds, so I'd have to get there for 8 o'clock, finish work, drive straight to Leeds for literally a 5-minute set, finish my set, and then you can't, sometimes you want to leave because you don't want to sit and watch loads of people, but sometimes it gives quite a bad impression. So I'd stay, finish there at 10, drive back, get home at like midnight, and have like a 6 o'clock start the next day. So it was literally so hard the first few months, especially when you're doing like open mic, because you have to try and gig like 3-4 times a week to really get like a good 10 to 20 minute set. But trust me, I was absolutely knackered. The first year, I'm being humble, first 4.5 months, it was really, 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 really tough. But then you start, like, once you start establishing a name for yourself, you can start like filtering what's worth going to and what's not worth going to. So once I kind of got the hang of knowing what's worth going to gig for, like, I was able to balance it like a little bit better from then.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not something I guess you can go and do tired very easily. I bet you've got to kind of inject yourself with some false energy to get up on stage.
Yeah, like people don't understand, like sometimes it's a struggle. I remember I had a gig in Yorkshire, and it was for this really cool guy, really quite a big promoter in the Northwest, and I was looking forward to it for ages. And then I had a really bad day at work, and literally like the last hour and a half, 3 of my patients died. And it was literally like really, really, because, you know, you do kind of grow, like when people say, oh, you have to learn not to take work home from you, I personally find that impossible. I find it really impossible. Like, I'm the kind of person that, you know, we could be talking about a case of, I don't know, necrotizing fasciitis, and I'll remember a patient in 2016 who was young and died of it, and it could literally bring me to tears. So I'm very much somebody who takes work home with me. I'm very much known that if like someone dies in the family, I'm mourning, I'll probably be crying just as much as the family are. So to have a job like this and then go from work and seeing like death, like new diagnoses of like certain diseases or whatever, and going from that and not having time to go home, kind of like change that mindset, and then going from that, driving 2 hours and then doing a gig straight after, it is so hard to kind of get in the vibe. But the thing that I loved about comedy, especially like when I was doing like oncology rotations and working with like, you know, especially like kids with, you know, really like upsetting conditions, I do take that home with me. But comedy was such a therapeutic way of kind of like clearing my mind. Like once you're on stage, your main concern is don't be shit, deal with hecklers, and don't be shit. So you don't have time to be thinking about, oh, like my day at work. So I feel like comedy is like a form of therapy for me. It really takes my mind off like basically shit that you've got to see and deal with on a daily basis. So yeah.
Because I mean, some comedians that a lot of people could probably name will talk about work a lot in their sets. Do you find it easy to split the two?
Nah, never do. I never, ever do. There is one set that I do that is about a case I saw, but I didn't say it as if like I was the healthcare worker. I would say, oh, I heard it of somebody else. People try to want to incorporate pharmacy into my comedy, and you do get like comedians like that. Oh, I saw a patient who stuck a pencil up his ass and we did an x-ray and we saw spiders in his guts. And it's like, oh, fuck off, that's so boring. Like everybody said it, we've all seen it. Like I don't need you to tell me. I experience it on a day-to-day basis, and for me that's boring. Like it's personally, no offense to any healthcare professional comedians out there who talk about all their funny cases, I don't find it funny. It's like
not really our target audience, that niche of comedians that talk about their healthcare work. We've not had that many.
You say that, but there is a lot out there that do that, and I think non-healthcare people might find it funny, but healthcare people be like, number one, that's not cool because you don't know like what's behind it. That guy maybe stuck a pencil up his ass because he thought it would help with his indigestion. You don't know.
Yeah.
It probably won't, but he maybe thought so. So I don't really like to incorporate work because it's like that's making pharmacy, whether you think so or not, that's still making it my whole life. That I'm working it, and then outside of pharmacy hours, I'm talking about it. And believe it or not, I've got a life, so I'm not going to sit there talking about pharmacy all the time. Like I'm not going to do that. So no, I don't even mention I'm a pharmacist. I make one joke about being a drug dealer, and only when people start saying like, oh my god, is she actually? I'm like, I'm a pharmacist. But even that joke I scrapped it because it reminded me.
Something that I did see in one of your sets was you were talking about things comedy have taught you and new experiences you've had because of comedy. There's a in there which just made me giggle off the bat straight away. But what is the funniest thing about kind of, I guess, about society that comedy's taught you and kind of changed your outlook on life, if it has?
How seriously people take what you say if they're ignorant to who you are. So when I first started, I made this joke about how people assume that because I wear a hijab, you know, I'm modest and, you know, I don't want to be approached by people because that's generally the stereotype people have about Muslim women, that they wear this so that no one looks at them, that no one talks to them, which it is part of modesty, but that doesn't mean that you alienate us from society. No. So I kind of played on the stereotype that actually, no, we're not. We actually want to be approached. And I took it one step further, and obviously I've scrapped this set completely because people don't know, so they'll take everything I say literally. And I made a joke about how this was actually a spiritual and physical barrier, because we're actually one of the dirtiest women you'll ever meet. So we have to feel restricted, otherwise, like, we'll literally go crazy. And then I made a joke about how this should be called a hijab instead of a hijab. So I thought it was hilarious at the time. I thought it was like absolutely hilarious. But my DMs started going a little bit crazy. And there was, I'm not mentioning any names, he's never going to amount to being a comedian anyway, he's fucking shit. But one of the comedians on the open mic circuit messaged me. I did this set at the Gong Show, Frog and Bucket, and it was the first round, and he was there. Well, he's probably going to watch this. He knows it's him. You know what you said. So he messaged me and he was like, I can't stop thinking about what you said about you being kinky and naughty. Oh, I've got all these images in my head. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, cool. And then he was like, I've got this girl who wears a hijab working in my office. You've given me the courage to approach her. Now I know what she's really thinking. And I was like, fuck me. Do not approach her. Do not speak to her. I was like, listen, I speak for myself. I was like, this is me. And I was like, look, don't do anything. Like, I was like, if you want to speak to her, but don't. That experience has taught me, always assume that they don't know anything about your religion, anything about your culture, anything about your background, and just approach it really, really carefully, because that was pretty intense. But after discussing this person with other people, I wasn't the first person that he was being like really creepy with. So maybe it was an exception, but I didn't want to take that risk. So that was something, a massive learning curve for me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we won't name him. We'll call him Creepy Clive from now on.
Yeah, Clive, you know.
But he's not invited on the podcast.
I thought you were just about to go, and here's Clive.
Just sat on the bed over there.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I married my future husband.
So, obviously, like you said, people don't quite understand your religion and stuff. When you turn up on a stage, and firstly, from what I can gather, it's still quite a male and quite a misogynistic kind of industry anyway, according to some of the blokes I know who work in comedy, but also turning up on stage to do comedy in a hijab could put people. Do you get some confused looks sometimes when you first started out, before people knew you? Or
oh yeah, the first time I went to an open mic, I didn't know it would be a proper pub, because I've never been in a pub. So when I walked in, the security guard kind of looked at me and he was like, "Are you okay there, love? Are you lost?" And I was like, "I'm looking for the open mic night." And he kind of paused for 3 seconds, and I kind of saw his eyes go, like, he looked at my, he had a quick glance, and he was like, right, okay, so let me take you upstairs. So it was like an upstairs venue, and you literally, these people have no shame. They And I was like, I don't have fucking leprosy. Like, what the hell is your problem? But I think it's definitely like what is going on. So when I went on stage, obviously I was really, really nervous, and there wasn't like that many people. Most of them were the comedians in the open mic, and not many people in the audience members. But it was literally like, I almost felt like it was just weird, because I could see that they were like waiting to see what I was going to say. And I remember I did a set about my name, and yeah, they found it funny. And then some of the comedians were like, "Oh my god, you know, it's so like different to have someone like you and this and that." And then the promoter was like, "Oh, would you be willing to do another gig for me in this place?" And blah blah. And so it kind of went from there. But I think some people have already heard my name, kind of thing, so now they know that like I'm a comedian. But back then, especially in the Northwest, there was nothing. Yeah, most of the people I gig with are white, in their 30s males, and yeah, I guess I'm the source to the white pasta, isn't it?
Well, that's one way of putting it, but I guess it's something that it's funny because I always see when you see on social media when someone will be like, the news will pull up a comedian for saying something, and you'll get some kind of skinhead, not a skinhead, I know I look like a skinhead, you'll get turn around and go, "Oh, but comedy's for the people, this is what all the people, it reflects what people, the real society are thinking." And then you'll get someone who's not a white male turn up and they'll go, "Well, this is weird." And you're like, well, it reflects society. The whole point of comedy is kind of to reflect society in a humorous way. In my opinion, I guess you've probably seen more of it than I have.
No, I agree. So, you know, like people complain about, oh, it's all white males. Well, do you know what? If it's all white males, but you're funny and original, I personally don't see anything wrong with it. I'll see something wrong with it if there are other people that are known in the market that are good, that are not getting opportunities. Then I'll be like, well, why aren't they getting opportunities? But if you're a white guy and you're funny, I don't think it's fair that you shouldn't get booked because of the way you look, because that's kind of prejudice in its own way. You get what I mean? But then you get unfunny people that are white males that complain. And I remember there's this one guy, again, not mentioning names, but you're a loser, so no one gives a shit anyways. But he made a comment about, do you know what this guy said? Actually, this is, you have a ranting question later. Let me rant about this.
Yeah.
Watch this, but if he does ever watch this, he'll know it's him, because only a true cunt will make a statement like this. This guy had the audacity to talk about, so you know the first black female to compete in the Olympics in the gymnastics. This girl did a 10 out of 10 performance. She did moves that no one has ever done before, but purely because she was black, they couldn't mark her. A black person couldn't be the winner, could not be a white person. They couldn't, because that was the times and that was the way it was. So instead of giving her 10s, whoever was second best, they marked her just below, so she didn't win. Okay? This white male talked about this story, and I was like, okay, where's he going with this? This is good. You're educating people. Yeah, this did happen. Look at the oppression my people went through. And then he goes, I feel like I'm in the same situation because I'm a white male. I will never be able to progress because I don't tick any of the niche boxes.
Oh my word.
And I was like, could it possibly be that all you joke about is your 3-inch dick? And I'm not even, he definitely has a 3-inch dick. Let me just make that clear. It's very evident. But he jokes about it a lot. He jokes about, oh, I can't masturbate anymore because my hand's too big for it. Why is that funny? Like, I don't get, maybe you're not getting booked because you're making jokes that make women really, really uncomfortable. You make, you joke with hecklers. And it's so like, okay, I sound like a massive hypocrite because I'm literally contradicting myself, saying it's vulgar everything he's saying. But technically what I'm saying is not vulgar because I'm repeating what he said. So when guys who are not funny, who meet that category, blame it on the fact that they're white and they're male, that pisses me off. But at the same time, if you're white and you're male and you're funny and you're not getting opportunities because you're part of the large comedy population, I think that's unfair as well. That's diplomatic, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's extremely fair enough. I mean, it is one of them that it is normally the people that aren't funny are the ones that kick off. It's like in any industry, the people that aren't very good at the jobs are the ones that kick off about never progressing. It's just because they're wank at what they do.
Exactly, and that's essentially what it is. And I think the problem is, it's kind of like a vicious circle that people of color, like, I can't speak for everyone, but like from my personal background, I potentially took longer to do this because there's not many people that look like me that are doing it. So in my head, I'm like, well, nobody else is doing it. There's obviously a reason why. There's, it's not made for people like me, because if it is made for people like me, then there should be more of me. Do you know what I mean? So if that applies to other minorities, then I get it. And I get why they're encouraging more minorities to do it, because then it will further encourage other people. Like if another girl who wears a hijab, who's, from an immigrant parent, sees me on TV and she's like, you know what, I've always loved comedy. Ola Labib did it. Why don't I give it a go? So it kind of like encourages and pushes more people to do it. So I get why they want to book. And I think it is important that they put diversity for these reasons. And yeah, like I've been talking about this for like ages with like other people and stuff, but yeah, I think it's really important that they do see more people of color and stuff on TV, because when it's the majority of comedians and comical shows that are, then only white people are going to be watching you. You're not going to, it's very unlikely you watch people that look like you sometimes. And I'm not saying all the time, but I think it betters engagement. And obviously the UK is becoming more and more and more diverse, so you want to try and you as a TV show or as a comedy show, you want to make numbers, you want more people watching you, so include more different people so that more people do watch you. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. We're gonna do a little bit of a feature. I don't want to undermine what we've just said, because we've gone from serious to just something a bit lighthearted. We do completely agree with what you're saying, but I know Chief has spent a lot of time doing some quick fire questions for you.
Oh, really?
And I'm very excited.
This is what I like.
Yeah, he's been very excited. He keeps messaging me again. Can I say something yet? Can I say something? So we'll do the quick fire questions now. So I'm going to hand over to you, Chief.
Thanks, mate. I normally don't have a what grinds my gears either. I just kind of let you rant, and obviously Ola, today you've ranted on there. But I think I'll add my one is the fact that the two categories found today are white males who blame everything but themselves for not getting further, and people who take comedy way too literally. It's called comedy for a reason. Don't take it literally. Don't just laugh at it, have a good time, and then just don't take it literally. But anyway, that's my point.
I thought you were just going to tell us you were a white male that's not very funny, Dan. But there we go. Go on.
I'm not doing the quiz anymore. I'm not doing the quiz. I think you can answer too as well, Goat, if you want to. So, favourite flavoured sweet?
Oh. Well, I've literally been munching on like loads of heroes. So at this precise time, fudge.
Okay.
Like right now.
I was going to say, as soon as you showed us the heroes, fudge was right in my head then. Like
Seemed to be a lot in that box as well. That was quite good. Favourite Christmas movie?
Oh, Elf.
That was a good one. Yeah. Very good, yeah. Favourite period of history and why?
It's a change in tone.
No,
I would probably say favourite period of history. Probably of my history, and that was talking about like the Nubians, the time of the Kingdom of Kush, when Black people were very powerful we were ruling, we were the most educated. No, I'm joking. Am I allowed to say that? Is that racist? I don't even know. I don't care. I've already said it. It's too late. But yeah, probably about the history of Nubia is my favourite.
Worst thing you've bought, and why was it so bad?
In 2007, I bought a pair of sandals from Primark for £4, and I wore them, and literally I took 3 steps, caught my foot on the pavement, and the straps snapped.
13 years ago, you remember?
I have to say, I thought I thought you'd be thinking a little bit more about some of these, especially that one. But no, that's really rankled you there. And best birthday you've ever had?
Probably my 30th, but that's thanks to me, because when I was 29, I wasn't married yet. So I had a massive panic attack. I was like, shit, I'm going to be 30 and I haven't achieved anything. So I was at work, and I Googled which countries in the world reverse time the most from the UK. And it turned out it was the Caribbean. So I literally took leave. I was like, I need leave starting tomorrow. It's urgent, whatever. And I booked a ticket to Barbados. And I went, and it was the day before my birthday, and I got an extra 6 hours of being 29.
Love it. What
Brilliant
as well. The Caribbean is.
I'm glad I spent time thinking about that. That was good. Great answers there.
You did mention earlier that you were ranting. You had a rant, but something that you do on your Instagram is have a little rant every now and again. And for listeners of this podcast, know I enjoy a little bit of a rant. Mine are very irrational, probably 95% of the time. So something I've written down, and I did ask you to think about it before, there was a bit of cheating going on, but what's your most irrational pet peeve?
The thing is, the people that know me who will watch this will be like, you need another 3 podcasts. Like, the thing is, lots of things annoy me, but it's how it comes. Like, I'm just trying to think what annoys me. God, so much stuff annoys me. What annoys me when I know I'm right, and then people question if someone says something and it's wrong, and I'm like, actually, this is right, and they try to convince me that what they're saying is right, even though I know what I'm saying. Nothing in the universe pisses me off more than that.
Especially when you have to be civil, you kind of go, okay, fine, whatever. And like, if you either just fight it and then you look like the dick, even though you're in the right, or you go, okay, and walk away having been proved wrong in a situation where you're definitely right.
That will never happen.
Okay, okay.
Never. Okay. And know that it's wrong. That will never happen. And you know what? I probably have lost a lot of friends that way. I don't think right.
Hey, that's one way to go out, a blaze of glory.
Yeah, exactly. But that's my most recent pet peeve.
Can I ask a question? Have you ever washed your clothes with dishwasher tablets?
Oh, that's not a question that anyone needs to know the answer.
Did you say it because you saw one of my things?
Oh,
because.
Or was that just a coincidence?
Have you done it as well?
I haven't done it. I bought tablets, and the only reason I bought tablets is because I was in. Doesn't matter what shop it was. There's nothing wrong with shopping in like cheap shops, anyways. Fucking judgmental. No. But it was it was like around March, April time, and this guy was coughing next to me, coughing, and I just wanted to get the fuck out of there, so I just grabbed the tablets. And the washing up thing, you were right next to each other. So I grabbed the tablets by mistake. What are you saying?
That is exactly what I did.
This is a massive
but I didn't know.
The only reason I asked it is because that was one of Goat's pet's peeves. He did it on another recent episode, and he's done it.
So I went to the newsagents opposite my old house, and weirdly, he'd put the dishwasher tablets in between 2 different washing machine tablets. Yeah. So I was pissed off when I found out what I'd done. But I'd done like 3 or 4 washes with dishwasher tablets. And because I wasn't even in the house, no one said to me, Tom, you smell like dishwasher.
Does dishwasher smell bad?
No, but they're just a bit more chemically, aren't they? They're not lavender. They're a bit more like.
Oh, I noticed, like, as soon as I opened the bag and I poured it out, I was like, why does this look like this? I was like, is this like a new formulation? I had no idea. And then I read it and I was...
She noticed someone didn't wash it 3 or 4 times with some dishwasher tablets before.
No, but did you not notice that it was like tablet and hard? Sorry, mate, but that's your fault.
Sorry, that's not. I'm still blaming the newsagents. I went back and told him he needs to move it around, but he just looked at me blankly.
No, to be honest, I agree with they should be on different shelves.
Yeah.
I do agree with that.
Yeah,
we can start a petition. I can sort that out for you.
Yeah, we'll see if Boris can discuss it in government with all the other stuff he's not going to discuss that we want to talk about.
He can't even discuss serious stuff, let alone...
Yeah,
he's not done very well at that.
If we need 3 more podcasts for anyone's rants, we definitely need more than that for a political dive into the political world.
You need a whole decade of podcasts for that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, especially as we're still waiting on the US election. We're just going to try and end on something obviously to do with the pandemic, because that's what we're in, and then try and be a little bit upbeat just to finish. But we'll go. So obviously we've gone into a second lockdown. You probably see both sides of the coin with the pandemic, obviously being clinical pharmacist and also a comedian. But I mean, you've probably been asked a lot, on both sides of it, what's it been like? But what has it been like working through the pandemic, but also how much have you missed comedy? Because I know there was a certain gig you were involved in, which I'm very interested to hear about.
There was lots of potential gigs that I was involved with that got like cancelled or postponed, and there were so many good ones. I was so annoyed. But I think with the first kind of massive lockdown, it was before I was signed, so I was like, this could be my thing, and I just felt like I was so close and I was ready. That's it, like I was ready to cross that line, and then COVID happened, and I was like, all my really decent gigs and my potential, this is going to get me signed kind of gigs got scrapped. And on top of that, I was working a lot, so comedy was taken from me and pharmacy was dumped even further on me. So it was like, it was really tough, and I got COVID as well in the first few months, because I worked on one of the first COVID wards, and at that time testing took ages, and obviously you have to have patient contact, obviously, it's like our job. And I think that's where I picked it up from. And I was really ill for like 3 weeks. I couldn't really do anything anyways. But yeah, it was really crap. I'm not even gonna lie. It was really on all sides, comedy sides and pharmacy sides, it was all crap.
Yeah. Did I read online that you were involved in one of the first socially distanced gigs?
Yeah. At the Frog and Bucket. It was basically like a trial run. So if it worked, like Frog and Bucket can then carry on doing gigs like this. And we had an amazing audience. It was a bit weird. It was like proper socially distanced, super careful. We had people from Public Health England coming to assess it. So to be part of something like that, honestly, like Jess Toomey, she's the manager of Frog and Bucket, like when she emailed me saying we want you to be part of this, I was like, did she send this to the wrong person? Like I thought so, because they had people like Huey Pritchard on there, Shazia Mirza on there, and I was like, why is she asking? Now that must be a tick box. It had to be a tick box. But yeah, that was amazing, and like obviously it got really good coverage and stuff, so it really gave me a push in the right direction. So I think I did quite well. But yeah, to be part of something like that is amazing. The first gig post lockdown. So
Yeah, because the article was it read really weird because it mentioned that standing ovations and clapping was allowed, and I was like, you wouldn't even think you needed to ever list that was allowed
it's because they actually told people don't laugh too loudly or try not to laugh with your mouth open. And I was like, how are they supposed to laugh?
Like you've
What
gagged
do you
them
expect
all.
them to do? Say that again.
Like you've gagged them all. You've like shoved a sock in the mouth and get up.
So I think that's why they said instead of laughing, try and like express your laughter through clapping.
Yeah, because it's not something you really think about, is it? And how you laugh, you tend just to laugh because that's the point of something being funny.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It was a bit bizarre. But you know what? They had to do what they had to do. It's 2 meters between people, and they did more than 2 meters. And isn't it like droplets? Is it that it can spray up to 2 meters? Is that
Something like that, yeah.
With droplets, I can't remember. So if
Yeah.
they've gone beyond that, then it's almost impossible. If they've got a 2.5 meter, for example, circumference around them, then laugh all you want. You can spit if you want to.
You never can spit more than 2 meters anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you're
If you can, well done to you.
Yeah, so do you think it's just a case of that's how we're going to have to be now in terms of kind of the comedy circuit? It's just going to have to be, when we can, we'll have to just kind of change a little bit, or
forever? Do you mean?
For the foreseeable. Yeah, for the foreseeable.
Well, I think people are saying if the thing is, let's be completely honest. I've gigged in some places that were very COVID friendly, and I've gigged in other places that were not COVID friendly at all. So if they go back to what they were like before, a lot of these people will go back to not. It would be exactly the same. If vaccine comes out, then it wouldn't matter, because if the vaccine comes out, then everybody can do whatever they want. But like, I think we know what's right, we know what's wrong, we know what's healthy. You're not going to see someone coughing and you're not going to put your mouth over his lips, are you? You know not to do that. So at the end of the day, you know what the risks are, and then at the end of the day, it's up to you. I see places like Sweden who believe in herd immunity, and they're like, you know what? Live your life how you want to live it. If you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, you don't get it. And if you're scared, stay home. We'll kind of support you with like food and this and that, and then it's the ball's in your court. And I just feel like the way it's been going, I think that probably would have been the best thing to do here, because it's not right that it just doesn't make sense. So I can't go to my friend's house, but I can go to I don't go to the pub, but hypothetically, if I went to the pub, I can go meet her in the pub, even though we'd probably be laughing and high-fiving each other. It's just so stupid. I can't even think of a good word to use. It's the way it's been done is so stupid. The politicians nowadays, they are the comedians, because that to me is hilarious. Like, what on earth are you actually thinking? It doesn't make sense. Like, nothing makes sense. So I personally think they're doing all this, I don't know, because they're having a laugh. They're probably like, I don't know, David Cameron putting a pig, Boris Johnson's doing this. It's whatever they think is funny at the time, like whatever. But they can't, you as a functioning person cannot honestly believe what you're doing makes sense. Do you really think they think this all makes sense? Have you ever lived, well, you probably do, live in a household with the same people for 28 days? Do you know how hard that is?
Yes.
I'm just going to put it out there. That was speculation. Boris didn't ring me before the podcast. We didn't chow down on what we were going to do for lockdown. Like, it was just speculation. Just throwing it out there.
You know what? It makes, like you said, he said it. And I know under that big mat of messy hair, in his heart, he believes that. He said it because he believes it. And he's the kind of person that has no filter. So he's trying to implement what he believes, but at the same time do what the public think he should be doing at the same time. And that's why it's such a joke, because you can't have what you want and what is expected of you at the same time. And FYI, one of my friends, he's a doctor, and then he went and did public health and economy in London School of Economics, and he works as he advises like these people. I don't know if I should say this, but I don't give a shit. If he didn't want me to say it and he didn't want me to know, he shouldn't have told me. But he was in, like, with advising these people, and he said it straight. He was like, I've sat with these people and we've tried to like look up different techniques, but he was like, they are idiots. And he was like, they have no clue what's going on. The second I saw Hancock's interview with that woman, and he looked like a fucking I don't take anything he says seriously.
No.
Like, he's what's that one something short of a something? Isn't that like a saying about someone who's a bit like quirky and weird?
Yeah, one.
There's loads of different ways, isn't there? Like,
yeah, so he's short of something. He's a bit thick. Well, this is the thing. People turn around and they'll go, well, how can you expect the British public to do this, because there's not much common sense in the British public? And you're like, well, there isn't much common sense at government level, so how do you expect that much common sense for people that read the Sun newspaper and places like that, where they get all this shit from anyway?
Yeah, go on.
No. I was just going to say, it is a joke. It's just mad out there.
No, it is. It just doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, we're going to break your house down if we catch you having Christmas dinner. Everyone's going to be having Christmas dinner. Like, literally everyone. I wrote like a sketch about it. I did some writing for The Now Show with Hugh Dennis and... Well, anyways, that was just something. That was just to like give it a bit of a, yeah, that's what I'm doing. But like, I did a whole sketch about the Christmas dinner thing, and it was like... Am I allowed to say? I don't know if I'm allowed to say. But anyways, it was fucking hilarious. And it was just a massive mockery of like literally how dumb this all is. Like, as soon as, I don't even care if I'm not allowed to say this, but as soon as they were like, oh, you're not allowed to leave your house, you're not allowed to mingle, I was like, meeting up with my friends and we've been planning this 2 weeks in advance. Do you think Boris's lockdown is going to stop me from going? Like, bro, I work in COVID wards. Like, it's not going to get... And I've got immunity. Well, I think I do because I've got antibodies. But it's like, you can't keep doing this. Do you know what? I used to laugh at those Americans. The ones like, we ain't going to wear our masks. We're not going to wear a mask. We're going to do whatever. And I used to be like, oh, look at those inbred idiot morons. But it turns out I've turned into one of them, so... So you are an idiot inbred moron. Yeah, looks like it.
Lovely. Which is
well, I'm two of those things. I'll let you guess which one.
That's a lovely place to finish the podcast with our new friend who is the idiot inbred moron. But thank you very much for coming on. Have you got anything? What's your Instagram tag and stuff so people can find you, follow you, and so on?
Well, everybody that now has discovered that I'm an inbred, you can follow me on the Ola Labib on Instagram, and yeah, hopefully I've got some things coming out. We just have to utilize lockdown, just have to utilize it and make the most of it. Like, I was really down about it. I was like, it's going to put my career on standstill. But actually, during this whole COVID, that's when I got signed, and then that's when a lot of my like, you know, it's just about utilizing your time and being smart about it. And what can you do in that time? And, you know, podcast obviously is a fantastic idea. Doing a bit of recording, yeah, just utilize your time and try and not make it drag you down too much.
Yeah, definitely. Keep going is the message.
Yeah.
Down to the sequel's always better in the movies, isn't it? That's what we're going for.
Isn't it when all the good people die and they bring on new characters?
Yeah. The sequel's never better, but just we're trying to stay uplifting here.
Oh yeah. The sequels are better.
Always better.
Yeah, forever the optimist, aren't you, Zen? Right, cool. Well, thank you for coming on. It's been great to chat to you. And
Thank you for having me and stay in touch.
yeah,
Thank
definitely.
you very much. Best of luck.
Cool.
Okay, thanks guys. Take care of yourselves.
So that was Ola Labib. Told you, amazing woman. Obviously being a trained pharmacist as well, working in the pandemic. So she's many strings to her bow. It was amazing to have her on. I think we probably will have to get her back, or at least have some Instagram collab about what annoys us. So I think we've definitely got more than one pet peeve each. But
yeah, if you can give me a week before we do that again, I just had a lot of you guys just what grinds your gears. I think I normally just have one of you to deal with. This time it was two people to deal with. So.
I personally feel like there was a good connection there. I think we are going to be good friends. I'm not sure about you. I'm not sure if she liked you, Danny, if I'm honest. But me and her are going to be good friends. So what a start to season two. Season two, gone all yank. Obviously, US election still not finished. Series 2.
Season 2.
Thank you. Next week, we have got a lad on who is an author, which I'm not sure I told you that, but yes, so he's going to be on. He also, again, a very funny guy, very talented guy as well. So, yeah, so if you want to donate to the Handlebars of Love, the Goat's Mo, as it's called on Movember. Yeah, I know that look was deserved, Dan. I get that. Just go to our Facebook or Insta, or you can go to my Insta, which is Tom904 Ryan. The link's in the bio, or you can just Google the Goat's Mo Movember, and hopefully I'd come up. But the link will be on all of our socials anyway. I don't think there is anything else to report. Any wise words from you, Chief? I mean, don't eat yellow snow was one that we had in the summer. So maybe you should give us some wise words about what to do in the sun, considering it's about 4 degrees outside.
Yeah, always wear sunscreen.
Always, especially with this head and this So I will. Right, we'll catch you next week then, boy.
See you later, mate.
In a bit.